Okay, so from a Zocdoc report from 2022, this is by Zocdoc, so take it with a grain of salt. But we're going to go through this infographic that just sort of takes you through Zocdoc. Um, this is through appointment booking trends, user provider surveys. They've got a lot of different data points given that there are millions of people who use Zocdoc every year. But in May 22, you can see that a lot of people were not virtual, what you'd expect, a lot of people more in person. We have the most popular services, and this is something that I thought was funny, but that 36 preventers have seen a patient's pet. And another 36% their pet appeared in the background. So a lot of different pet things you wouldn't expect from all this big data, but here you go. So I found this common issues for telehealth section really fascinating because you have from the patient's perspective and the provider perspective going through the three main issues for telehealth. And that is building a relationship, technology issues, and quality care. So from ZocDoc providers and physicians, this is a significant percent that it is more difficult to, a third of people said it was more difficult to build a relationship versus in telehealth versus in person. Another third of patients said that it was difficult with the tech side of things. And you got a whopping two-thirds of providers saying they had tech issues. 15% of her patients reported saying it wasn't possible to get the type of care they expected. And then you got a whopping two-thirds percent of providers saying it was more difficult to examine patients. So it's interesting that the doctors are much more saying that it's difficult to give quality care while patients don't seem to notice as much. Looks like the majority of people who use ZocDoc are in urban or suburban areas. And by the way, just cycling back up here as well, these numbers are not good, but it does make me trust ZocDoc. Now, this is kind of cool. The average wait time for patients to see a psychiatrist is 25 days versus ZocDoc 4 to 5 days in person or 5 to 6 days virtually. So that's just a little infographic of ZocDoc. I hope you get a better feel for it as well as their transparency, which I do appreciate.